2024 is coming to a close, and Resident Evil 9 is yet to be revealed officially by Capcom, but significant leaks and speculation have painted a promising picture for what fans could expect to see from Capcom with the final game of this third trilogy in the mainline Resident Evil series. So in this video, I will be breaking down what we know so far about Resident Evil 9, and fingers crossed Capcom reveals something soon, as I feel like the leaks are starting to get more and more frequent, so it would make sense for Capcom to finally unveil what they've been working on for all this time, and hopefully that is sometime soon. So jumping into the video itself, Resident Evil 9 is rumoured to take place 4 years after Resident Evil Village, marking the continuation of the Megamycete storyline that was started all the way back in Resident Evil 7 and continued in Resident Evil Village. Reports are also indicating that this will specifically serve as the concluding chapter for the narrative arcs in this third trilogy, so it should be a good game to finally close off this arc and see where the Resident Evil franchise is heading next. Whether or not that is the end of this chronological timeline and they go back in time for the subsequent releases, or they might even just go and introduce new characters and give us a little soft reboot and keep the franchise going. As to what I think fans would prefer, I think it is up in the air, but definitely drop your comments down below as to where you think they should take the Resident Evil franchise after they conclude this storyline. And keep in mind, a lot of our favourite characters will be quite old at this point, so I am intrigued as to where Capcom will take the future of the franchise. And of course, definitely drop your comments down below as to what you think with how Capcom should handle the story after this concluding chapter that is Resident Evil 9. And jumping back on topic with what we could expect to see from this entry, the main plot apparently is going to centre around protagonists Jill Valentine and Leon S. Kennedy, who are tasked with investigating a mysterious island tied to Evelyn's origins, and that of course is the little girl from Resident Evil 7. And the bioweapons created by the villainous organisation Blue Umbrella are apparently going to be taking centre stage as well. The island will allegedly house laboratories, abandoned structures and natural environments like caves, blending eerie isolation with classic survival horror. And I think that if this leak is to be trusted that mentioned all of these locales, I think it's safe to say they've chosen a good set of locales for Resident Evil 9 to have a varied experience throughout. And I think the mix of locales that they've picked out here, assuming once again that these leaks are to be trusted, it's good because it allows the developers to have more scenarios to pick from in how the game plays out, whether that is a stalker type enemy in very tight cave corridors, or if we're being chased down by a horde of zombies in an abandoned structure. Whatever the scenario may be, it's nice that we have a nice variety for the developers to choose from. And moving back onto the plot itself specifically, there is apparently going to be a major narrative twist which involves both the Jill and Leon becoming infected with the Megamycete during their investigation, and this plot point could introduce unique gameplay mechanics, potentially altering their abilities and interactions with the environment as they resist the influence. And this of course wouldn't be both of these characters' first time with being infected, with Jill being infected in Resident Evil 3 and Leon in Resident Evil 4. And it does seem that the story, assuming they go in this direction for what happens to these characters, could link back to the themes of survival and inner conflict, similar to how we saw in Resident Evil 4, but then this would bring up the question as to whether or not it's worth doing, given it's already been a theme in prior Resident Evil games, not to mention the remakes that have come out quite recently. But of course, time will tell as to whether or not this is true, and the comment section down below and the Resident Evil community as a whole surely will put their opinion across as to whether or not it is a good idea. Moving on to the characters that we could expect to see in this entry. So as I just mentioned, Jill Valentine and Leon S. Kennedy are returning, and these fan favourites are apparently going to be at the forefront, and these two will be supported by Chris Redfield and Barry Burton, who provide backup via radio. Jill's character design may reference her Resident Evil 5 Lost in Nightmares outfit with minimal signs of aging due to her T-virus exposure, and Leon, however, will reportedly appear older, sporting longer hair and facial hair reflecting a grizzled veteran persona. Rosemary Winters, the daughter of Ethan Winters from Village and Seven, is also rumoured to appear, potentially bridging the thematic threads between the Winters family saga and the broader franchise storyline. There's not too much known about the villain of this game, but they are apparently called Mr. Simon, and it is said to be a stalking presence reminiscent of past franchise terrors like Mr. X and Nemesis. The game is expected to revisit the franchise's roots in survival horror while integrating modern action-orientated elements. Enemies are described as zombies, but with an occult twist, featuring moon tattoos and seemingly tied to a mysterious cult. Of course, this isn't the first time that we've seen a similar type of enemy, as we did get the Ganados, who are a part of the cult in Resident Evil 4, and I feel like we're going to get something similar in this game. An evolution in enemy design promises to challenge players with more than just hordes of zombies, and rumours indicate a recurring stalker enemy, potentially adding layers of tension and unpredictability, which will only be increased if they combine this stalker type enemy with this new type of zombie, similar to how we had Nemesis chasing us with zombies surrounding us in Resident Evil 3. But of course, time will tell with how Capcom decide to play out these scenarios, but I think with the game's locations that I mentioned prior and how diverse they are, it is all pointing to a mix that suggests a strong and positive balance between exploration, resource management, and intense combat. Everything we would expect to see from a Resident Evil entry. The game itself is being directed by Koshi Nakanishi, who also helmed Resident Evil 7, and the game is confirmed to be in development but has faced delays. As to how big these delays are, they haven't been too specific with the details, as of course we are yet to see any marketing material whatsoever, so the details are scarce, but speculation points to a late 2025 or early 2026 release, aligning with the franchise's 30th anniversary in March 2026, and fans are also anticipating that Capcom might reveal more at the Game Awards 2024 in December, but of course time will tell. The game's development reportedly involved extensive playtesting earlier this year as well, which could indicate a release closer than we may think, as these playtests did go into quite a lot of detail for what we could expect to see in Resident Evil 9, with details saying that Jill was in an abandoned hospital and Leon was in a forest setting, and these tests are said to also have redefined the balance between horror, narrative, and gameplay. But once again, none of this is official, so do take it with a grain of salt, as all of this could be false, but you never know, this could all come to fruition very soon. If the rumours hold true, Resident Evil 9 could serve as a monumental chapter weaving together beloved characters, franchise lore, and redefined gameplay mechanics, not to mention the multiple narrative arcs that we've seen over the past 2 years, and it promises to bridge the gap between the series' early days of claustrophobic horror and the recent trend of expansive narrative-driven experiences. The mix of legacy characters and modern story arcs sets the stage for an unforgettable entry in the series, and while fans eagerly await official confirmation, the potential of Resident Evil 9 to redefine survival horror makes it one of the most anticipated games in the industry. And with that said, guys, that does bring us to the end of this video. Of course, do drop your comments down below as to what you hope to see in Resident Evil 9 and what you think about the rumours and speculation so far, and I look forward to seeing how the discussion continues. Be sure to drop a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course only if you did enjoy. It is extremely appreciated, it helps out the channel a ton, and subscribe for a lot more Resident Evil content. Don't forget to join our Discord, link is at the top of the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.